Hi everybody, I'm excited to be bringing you our fourth video in this series of AWS sample questions explained. And as you can see on your screen now, the services that this question cover are EC2, VPC and EIP. EC2 being your instances, VPC standing for Virtual Private Cloud, and EIP of course, Elastic IP. And the source of this question is from the AWS Solutions Architect Associate sample exam, and it's question number 4. And the question is, which of the following will occur when an EC2 instance in a VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, of course, with an associated Elastic IP is stopped and started? Now this question isn't too difficult, however, there's much confusion around stopping and starting instances and terminating instances and rebooting instances and what comes up and down with those respective scenarios. But first let's have a look at the answers to the question, or the possible answers. So you've got to choose two. The first choice they give you is that the Elastic IP will be disassociated from the instance. Second choice is all data on instance store devices will be lost. C, all data on EBS, Elastic Block Store devices will be lost. So firstly, just note they're very similar, B and C. However, one is talking about instance store devices and the other is Elastic Block Store devices. So it's important to know the differences between those two. And I will be bringing up a diagram shortly that should explain that. Fourth choice is the ENI, the Elastic Network Interface, is detached. And lastly, the underlying host for the instance is changed. So as I stated, I'm going to bring up a diagram, or there's a couple of diagrams I've got for this thing, and as always, I always say try and look for hints in the question. For me, in this one, looking straight off the bat, there's nothing there that stands out that's a hint that I would say. However, what I stated before about B and C being similar, all data on instance store devices will be lost, and all data on EBS, Elastic Block Store devices will be lost. Very similar, so I guess that's a hint that are both of those right? Can both of those be right? Okay, let's bring up a diagram, the explanation below with diagram, and there it is. That's my first diagram for this question, and a diagram showing you two different EC2 instances. Similar, but the difference being they both have instance store, as you can see, and they both have Elastic Block Store, as you can see, but the difference being the first one is using the instance store to tie it to device mappings, so effectively using it as a boot device, whereas this is using the EBS for the mappings to the block devices and hence boot devices. Now that is pretty much irrelevant to the question, and all they are, it doesn't matter. They don't talk at all about different mappings. They just state that when an EC2 instance with an associated IP is stopped and started, what happens. Now, what I want you to take away from this is, again, don't worry about the mappings, just hone in on the instance store, and it says ephemeral. Now, ephemeral means lasting a very short time. That's the definition of ephemeral from the Webster Dictionary. Also means transient, transitory, momentary, fleeting, all those fun things. But just take out of that the fact that it doesn't last very long. So definitely one of our answers. Doesn't last a very long time. So if an instance is stopped and started, it sounds like you might lose it. So that diagram is just to show you how EC2 instances have instance store and EBS volume storage. So we'll move on to the next diagram, and this is a really good diagram. I really like this, and what you're looking at is the different things that happen to EC2 instances for three different scenarios. One is a reboot, one is a stop start, and the other is what happens when you terminate EC2 instances. Now, from our question, they're talking about stop and started. So let's just concentrate on this and not worry about the other ones too much. So when you stop start an EC2 instance, these are the things that happen below. The instance runs on a new host computer. A new address is assigned. The EIP remains associated with the instance. The instance store volume is erased. And the EBS volume is preserved. Okay, and you stop incurring charges for billing as soon as the state is changed to stopped. Let's forget about that bottom bit. There's nothing in this question about billing. So now this is very interesting here. Instance store volume is erased. So B, all data on instance store devices will be lost. EBS volume is preserved. So all data on EBS block store will be lost. No, it won't be. It's preserved. Okay, so C is out, B is in. So we just need one more answer to get our two choices. And the EIP remains associated with the instance, we can see down here. And up here is the elastic IP will be disassociated from the instance, so that cannot be the answer. The ENI, Elastic Network Interface, is detached. Nothing here about that, so put that aside. And the last choice we have is the underlying host for the instance is changed. And here you can see the instance runs on a new host computer when you stop start. So the underlying host for the instance is changed is the other answer we're looking for. Not that complicated when you nut it out, however, really need to understand how all this works as far as the different scenarios when you reboot, stop, start or terminate, what ephemeral storage is, and what EBS back volume is. Okay, so that leads us to the answer that we've already just gone through, but just to reiterate, B and E, all data on the instance store devices will be lost and the underlying host for the instance is changed. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that question 4 from the exam. Question 5 coming up shortly. I'm getting these out a little quicker on YouTube. As you notice, this is about 3 or 4 days after I did question 3, so hopefully question 5 will be coming up in the same short space of time. Please subscribe to our channel if you're interested in getting the answers to question 5, 6 and 7, and please hop on over to our training site, cloudcertification.training, where we have lots of more free content and even some premium paid content. Okay, I'll talk to you again shortly. See ya.